I was home alone and someone was in my house. I've never told anyone this story outside my family, mostly because every time I try, people either laugh it off or tell me I must have imagined it. But I know what I had. I know what I saw. And I know that someone was inside my house that night. This happened when I was 19 years old. I still lived with my parents in a quiet suburb where nothing ever really happened. Our neighborhood was kind of place where people forgot to lock their cars, kids rode bikes until dark, and everyone knew everyone. That's part of what makes this story so disturbing to me, because nothing like this was supposed to happen there. It was a Friday night in early winter. My parents had gone out of town to visit relatives, and my younger sister was spending the night at a friend's house. It was the first time I had the entire house to myself, and honestly, I was excited. I ordered food, turned on the TV, and planned to stay up late without anyone bothering me. By midnight, I was in my bedroom, lying on my bed, scrolling through my phone with the TV playing quietly in the background. The house felt unusually silent, but I didn't think much of it. When you're alone, silence feels louder. I remember checking the time, 12:43 a.m. I told myself I'd go to sleep soon, but I kept scrolling. That's when I heard the first sound. It was faint, so fast that at first I thought it came from my phone. It sounded like someone slightly tapping on glass. Tap, tap, tap. I paused my video and listened. Nothing. I waited a few seconds, then shrugged it off. Our house was old. Pipes made noise. The roof cracked when it got cold. I told myself it was probably just the wind. A few minutes later, I heard it again. This time, it was louder. Tap, tap, tap. It sounded like it was coming from the living room area, where the big front window faced the street. My stomach tightened, but I still tried to rationalize it. Probably a branch, I whispered to myself. But then the tapping changed. It turned into scratching. Not like an animal scratching, but like fingernails dragging slowly across glass. Scratch, scratch, scratch. That sound made my skin crawl. I sat up in bed and pulled my blanket closer around me. I muted the TV and held my breath, listening. The scratching stopped. Complete silence. I told myself I was overreacting. I lay back down and picked up my phone again, trying to distract myself. That's when I heard a voice. It wasn't loud, it wasn't angry, it wasn't soft, almost gentle. Hello, my entire body froze. I didn't move, I didn't breathe, I didn't blink. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. No one should have been in the house. I slowly sat up and turned off my bedside lamp, leaving my room in darkness. The only light came from the hallway where I had left the living room light on earlier. The voice came again. I know you're awake. That's when fear truly set in. My mind started racing. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe someone was outside the house and their voice was carrying through the window. Maybe I was hallucinating from being tired. But deep down, I knew none of that made sense. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera instead of the flashlight. I didn't want to turn on any lights and reveal where I was. I stood up quietly and walked towards my bedroom door. Every step felt heavy. I always lock the doors before going to bed. It's a habit my parents drilled into me since I was a child. My hands started shaking. That's when I noticed something else. The living room window curtains was moving. Not from the window, from behind it. A shadow passed slowly across the fabric. It was tall, too tall to be a child. My heart dropped into my stomach. I backed up slowly, careful not to make a sound, and slowly closed my bedroom door. I locked it, then pushed my drawer in front of it, using all my strength. My breathing was shallow and uneven. Then I heard footsteps. They were slow, deliberate, barefoot. Step, step, step. They were moving down the hallway towards my room. I pressed myself against the wall, holding my phone so tightly my fingers hurt. I didn't know whether to call the police, my parents, or someone else. I was too scared to even unlock my phone properly. The footsteps stopped right outside my door. Silence, then a knock. Not loud, not aggressive. Just one soft tap. Tap. My eyes filled with tears. I covered my mouth to stop myself from making any noise. Another tap. Then a whisper right on the other side of the door. Open the door. I just want to talk. My entire body felt numb. I could hear my own heartbeat. It was so loud I'm afraid I could hear it too. Then I heard a doorknob slowly turning back and forth like someone was testing it. I slid down the wall and crouched on the floor, shaking uncontrollably. I felt like I was about to pass out. I finally managed to dial my mom's number, but my hands were shaking so badly that I hit the wrong contact twice. The call connected. Mom, I whispered, trying not to cry. She answered groggily. What's wrong? There's someone in the house, I whispered. Someone broke in. She immediately told me to stay quiet and call the police. But before I could hang up, I heard something that made my blood run cold. The person outside my door laughed. Not a loud laugh, not a normal laugh. It was slow, almost amused, like they were enjoying this. Then they spoke again. You shouldn't have locked the door. I dropped my phone. The doorknob started rattling violently. I scrambled backwards, pressing myself into the corner of my room, sobbing silently. The rattling stopped. Everything went quiet. No footsteps, no voice, no movement. Just silence. I stayed frozen in that corner for what felt like hours, even though it was probably only minutes. I didn't move. I didn't breathe loudly. I didn't make any sound. Eventually, I heard a car pull into the driveway. Headlights flashed through my window. I heard the front door slam shut. Then my dad's voice. Hello? I busted out of my room, crying hysterically, and ran to him. I told my parents everything, barely able to speak through my sobs. My dad searched the entire house, every room, every closet, every window. No one was there. Nothing was stolen. No windows were broken. No forced entry. But the front door was still unlocked. To this day, I don't know who was in my house that night. I don't know how they got in, and I don't know why they left. But sometimes, when I'm alone, late at night, I still hear the tapping. The police never found anyone. No fingerprints, no signs of forced entry, no evidence anyone had been there at all. But a few days later, something happened that still haunts me. I was helping my mom clean the house when I noticed muddy footprints near the front door. They were small, smaller than mine, and they led straight to my bedroom door. When I pointed them out, my mom froze. She didn't say a word. She just stared at them, then slowly wiped them away. Later that night, I overheard my parents arguing in their room. My dad said, "We can't tell them, it will destroy the family." My mom said, "They already know something isn't right." That's when I realized that something terrifying. The person in the house that night wasn't a stranger. It was someone who lived there. Someone I know. This is my story.